Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now in today's video I'm out here enjoying my fire pit on this nice afternoon, and today we are going to talk about these wood log carriers from the company White Duck. And before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at White Duck who did provide these products for review. Now in the past, trying to enjoy my fire pit, well, my ability to carry wood to the fire was not necessarily the best. Whether I was taking huge armfuls full of wood, which it works, it's okay, and you know, I'm not saying it was the most painful, but it would scratch me up and I'd always have marks on my arms and little scrapes and all that, and it was fine, but it wasn't the best. Or the other option, to use a bucket. Now, the bucket works okay, but it's not the most glorious. I don't necessarily need that sitting around my nice patio, and even at that, it's difficult to store. But today I have a much better solution with these White Duck log carriers. Now I have 4 of these to show you, and for me it's a significant upgrade to my fire process. So what we're going to do is take a look at these in detail, but if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now the way I found White Duck was really in my research to find a nice quality canvas tent. For me, in the outdoor hiking, camping, and backpacking scenario, I do use a lot of like nylon products, but I wanted to find something that was a more permanent shelter type, so I started looking into canvas tents. And if you take a look at White Duck, they have some beautiful shelter options. So if you hop on the White Duck's website, you can see here a number of amazing options. And one of their most recent products is these wood log carriers. So at this point, let's get into it. We'll take a look at these in some detail. White Duck Outdoors uses 10.10 ounce 100% cotton Army Duck canvas fabric for all of their tents and accessories, including these log carriers. Now their tents range from hunting, camping, and even glamping in the outdoors, and they are treated with a breathable finish, which is one of their main features. White Duck utilizes naturally grown and harvested raw materials, which means it also degrades organically, giving it a longer product life cycle that allows the canvas fabric to be reused in multiple renewable ways. A big part of White Duck is their commitment to be a responsible global citizen and a brand that consumes outdoor products, resulting in processed wastage at various steps. So in other words, fabric that would be cut off and typically thrown away is now reused for the tent carry bag, the reinforced edges, and the toolkit carry bag. So White Duck taking the extra measures to ensure it cuts down on overall waste. So there are 4 different styles of these White Duck log carriers. Now here you'll see 2 of them demonstrated, and each one's a little bit different. And each one I would say has a pro and a con. They also have 4 different colors, so they have black, brown, and here you can see the tan, and they have olive green. So a number of different options depending on exactly what you're looking for. Now when I talk about the styles, we're going to look at 2 of them in detail, and the other ones are kind of a hybrid right in between. So this particular one that I used first, the tan here, it does have enclosed sides. So this is convenient and it's easy to load. You can get nice sized logs in here, up to about 18 inches. Now you'll notice that I do typically cut my wood a little bit shorter. If you look at the overall depth of my particular fire pit, it is a little bit limited when I get up to that 18-inch range, and I can only put them in the long way. So if I cut my wood at closer to 12 inches, it fits better in any configuration. So my logs are closer to the 12-14 inch range, and they fit in here with ease. You can hold a good amount of wood, and again, where you have these sides, it keeps everything well and contained. But this style here, again, having the advantage that it is open on the ends, and that allows you to really put some longer pieces. And you'll notice that even here, if I have some real gnarly, weird shaped and twisted pieces,
I can still carry it in here easily. Now some of these are like 24-inch logs, and because the ends are open, it's easy for me to grab this, pick it up, and go, and I don't have any problems or concerns. So depending on what you're trying to do, the different styles may have pros and cons that work to your advantage or disadvantage. And so now getting a look at these side by side, this is where you can really kind of see the difference. So again, this tan one being fully enclosed on both sides. And again, the way you load it would be a little bit different. Whereas the green here, it is fully open. So this you can kind of just grab your handles, pick it up and go. This one you need to kind of bundle it up a little bit differently. Now, I do think they both carry equally well. You end up with padded handles in both cases, so nice and comfortable. You do rely potentially on the Velcro to keep them shut if you really wanted to close the top off. I find for me, I don't really need to do that. Basically, I'll just carry it like this, and then when I get there, just drop it and let it open up. This one, it depends on, again, what you're trying to do. Do you want to basically show up to your location, and at that point you let it go and the whole thing just kind of opens up and you remove your wood? Or if you want to keep it kind of contained and in order, you really need to Velcro that to keep it shut. But either way you go, again, just a little bit of a difference. And again, I will illustrate the point that if you get into some of these larger logs, well, this is not going to work so well. You can get it in there and it's not a big deal, but it does kind of push this around, and this is a fairly large log. So you do need to be a little bit mindful. This one works. Oh, what about this? It's close. You can get it in there, but it really starts to pull the shape of this around and limit your ability to get other pieces in here, I would say efficiently. But the flip side of it is, this green one, well, no problem. You can get these, lay them right in, no problem at all. Take some of these longer ones, lay them in there, start to pop these in place, pick this up, and at this point just slide the last few in and you're off and running. So it is very convenient. I do like this particular style. I think for me, just a little bit better, but as I mentioned, there are a couple of hybrid options as well. Now the third style here, you'll notice, again, as I take this out and open it up, this is again a fully open design, very similar. However, this one has a strap to allow you to hold it shut. So we're going to load this one up real quick, get our logs, start placing them in here. Again, if I wanted to put the big gnarly ones in here, that works with no problem. Logs of maybe slightly larger length go in here with ease. Piling this all up, and at this point I can pull this shut. Now, again, my point being, if you wanted to hold this shut well, you can feed this through. Maybe you were hiking through a little bit of distance or had to carry the wood for any considerable amount of distance and you wanted to make sure it didn't potentially fall out. Well, this is pretty straightforward. It's just a typical style buckle. Straighten everything out and pull that shut. Well, that works very nicely to keep this all, again, well and contained. And even if I get to my destination and put this down, it's not going to fall out. So I greatly like this. I like the fact that this is on here. If you need it, you can just kind of loosen it up, get your wood out. It also gives you the ability, if you need to get some extra in here, maybe one more piece, we can get that in there, straighten it out, tighten it up, and again, I'm off and running. This one to me works extremely well. I am a big fan of this design. I think this is about perfect, and quite frankly, so far, the one I'll probably go to the most. And last but not least, this one here, again, a little bit of a hybrid between the two. Now you'll see this does sort of fold open, but at the same time, it does have sides. So it's kind of in between the different styles. Now this is going to work very well to get some smaller wood down in the bottom. No problem. Let's get some smaller pieces and kind of lay it in here. But let's just say I get to the point where I actually did have some larger pieces as well. Well, this is going to give me an advantage where once I start to pull this up, at that point I can get some of the longer pieces in here and some of these ones that are kind of weird and twisted, and it's not going to kind of mess with the ability to keep this shut like the first model we looked at. So again, this one's kind of a hybrid where you get the benefit of both worlds. So White Duck thinking about the user, how it may work for them best, and giving some options. And so I've looked through the quality of each one of these, and these are all excellent. From what I can tell, nice manufacturing, no problem at all. So as I go through and I look at all the stitching seems to be perfectly in place. There were some loose threads, but they were not tied to the material. It was just like threads that were cut and had been kind of stuck to this. So if you see a couple of threads, I would say there's no problem. I have not had any issues whatsoever. Basically, any of the threads that I saw were just kind of left over from just the manufacturing process, and not because they were actually fraying or pulling off or anything like that. And if you look at the stitching, we have box stitching in critical locations. So box stitching in a number of spots where it matters, so where any of the handles meet up. And if you look at the handle itself, generally well done. Now the Velcro on this one is nice and flush. There was a couple that I looked at where the Velcro was actually a slightly, maybe hanging out a tiny bit. Not a big deal. If it made a problem for you, you could just trim it up a little bit, but the stitching was in the proper spot, so no big deal there. And the canvas is very nice. This is a nice, high quality waxed canvas. Good quality, nice and durable. You can feel it. It's nice and thick. And then on the sides, you end up with this cotton ribbon working very well. So everything nicely stitched in that beautiful White Duck patch. And now each one of the log carriers has an accessory loop to allow the attachment of an axe or a hatchet. Here you'll see my Grants Brook wildlife hatchet here. So fitting nicely. Now, this is maybe something that I might use. It's hard to say. I usually have the ability to carry my hatchet on my belt, so it's hard to say that I would actually attach it to my log carrier, but good thing is it's there if you need it. You could slide a pair of gloves in there, a number of different things. Just nice that that's there, and a good little accessory component. And again, looking at the very first model that we had taken a look at, this one does also have a pocket. So if you wanted to, again, slide some, maybe tinder or fire starters or gloves or even little accessories, that's kind of a nice little option. So this is the only one of the four that does have a pocket on there, but just giving you some additional options depending on your needs. So all right guys, there you have it, a look at these White Duck log carriers. Absolutely wonderful. Great quality, nicely done, good craftsmanship overall, and indicative of the quality I'm hoping we're going to see in their tents. Now they do manufacture their own tents as well as these log carriers, so all the fit and finish and the details that we see here, it's going to be indicative of what we will see in their tents. So for me, moving forward, I really hope that I'll get the opportunity to take a look at their tents. I think their products seem to be right on par with what I was hoping. Good quality, heavy-duty canvas, nicely waxed, good overall stitching, good features, good thought process, and definitely some variety. So hopefully something here for everybody. And so again, I'd like to say thank you very much to the people at White Duck for providing this for review. I look forward to continuing to look and investigate the White Duck product lineup, and this is hopefully just the start. So all right guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.